So basically, a person attracted to a narcissist is putting 90% of their efforts into the relationship and not into themselves. So how do you respond? What do you do if now you've listened to this and you're like, oh my God, that's me, that's us? We always have to take ownership of who we allow into our life. And that's why, at least in my videos, I always include aspects of the part we play, because we are not innocent bystanders. Each individual is responsible for their life and must take ownership of their life. To not do so is narcissistic in nature. It's, hey, no, you have to be everything I want. But it's from a passive-aggressive position of, well, it's not my fault, I didn't know. Well, then go learn. That's our responsibility. That came out harsh. I didn't mean it harsh. I mean it emphatically, really with empathy of, God, please, people, stop this victim mentality of it's not my fault. That kills all of us. I'm really trying to empower you. Go learn, because we don't have to end up with these people in our life. All right? And the key sign for you to recognize in yourself is you think you can love them out of it. You're sitting there going, God, well, they were so hurt. If I do this, if I dress this way, if I act this way, if I just. You're constantly thinking all the different ways you could adjust who you are to get them to love you and get them through this. That's a key sign. You are with the narcissist, and that's the part you're playing. The second thing is you think you're not enough. In other words, you would say things like, man, if I was better looking, or if I was thinner, if I made more money, if I cooked the better meals, if I did this or did that, if I wasn't so needy, if my parents weren't this way. Remember, that's part of the gaslighting. That's why we are prey for their gaslighting, is because underneath that is low self-worth and shame. And so we will constantly bring it back on us and think if we could be different, we could get them to love us. Well, where did we learn that? Childhood. We were made to take care of somebody in childhood. And that's why this comes up. And that leads to the final thing. We look for ways that we can change them. The key indicator that you're with a narcissist is you are online watching videos like this, reading, resourcing, everything you can, not to learn how to save yourself or to heal yourself, but you're trying to figure out the narcissist and what you need to do to get them to like you, to get them to be different. All of your questions, and I get almost every single person that reaches out to me privately or even in my public comments on the narcissism posts, they will almost invariably be questions about the narcissist. Not about themselves and how they need to heal themselves and the part they're playing or any of that. It's always, can you help me understand the narcissist? That is a major red flag that you are with a narcissist. Now, not always. We're all codependent, so that can happen in a so-called normal relationship. I'm just, in this example, that is key. So basically, a person attracted to a narcissist is putting 90% of their efforts into the relationship and not into themselves. So how do you respond? What do you do if now you've listened to this and you're like, oh my God, that's me, that's us? 3 options. Get out. Just get out. The chances of a narcissist ever doing work and ever healing are slim to none. And just like that rubber band effect, they might do some of it, but they don't see an advantage to being empathetic. They don't see an advantage to this. They will always bounce back. And that's why you have to let go of the grandiose fantasy yourself that you can somehow change this. Now, maybe you're in a situation, married, kids, religion, financial. There's something where you're like, I can't get out, Kenny. I have to stay. Well, okay. Then the second option is this. You have to lower your expectations. You have to realize that 90% of the time you'll get nothing, that it is all about them. And so my suggestion to you is this: massive self-care. Because remember, the 3 things that make it possible that you are with a narcissist within yourself is 90% of your life is about them and 10% about you. You need to flip that dynamic. 90% needs to be about you. You need to get into self-care. You need to get into therapy, whether it's a coach or someone like myself. or a therapist, you need to see how your childhood trained you to and created an attraction where you most likely took care of your parents just like this. You looked all up and down, left and right, sideways, trying to find a way to get your parents happy. They may not have been narcissists themselves, some could have been, but you were trained to seek this out. You need to learn to heal from that. And because you're just replaying it. That's why you ended up. All relationships are a replaying of our childhood wounds. That's it. And so any problems we're having in a relationship, they're a mirror to what we didn't heal in our childhood. And so that's the biggest thing we have to do. And as I said, the most important part is flip that 90%. Gather friendships, join groups, learn to meet your needs. Stop asking them to meet your needs. Stop fighting with them. It's useless. You've been with this for years. You already know it's not going to change. The only person you have control of is yourself. And so we have to take control of ourselves and learn to meet the needs ourselves.